Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's video, I'd like to talk about the mat loading issue with my SDX125, and then I'm going to unbox the new mat that Brother sent me and see if we can get the machine working the way it should work, as far as the mat loading issue. All right, so here's the issue I'm having, and I've had so many viewers write to me about the same issue, so let's get to it. All right, so first of all, I found a good video to try to explain it to me, and it was from Ken's Creation, and he did a live YouTube live, okay, and it was on May 19th, May 2019, okay, and in that video he explained something, and I really liked the way he explained it, okay, because he called Brother and they explained it to him. These number of dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, means this mat was manufactured in 2018, so 8 dots means 2018. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 dots means July. Okay, so that's the month and that's the year. So the mat was manufactured in July 2018. Okay, so the information he got from Brother is that if mats were purchased from August to October 2018, meaning this was probably purchased then, meaning it came in the machine, but I'm saying if the mat was purchased between August and October, then the mats were defective. Okay, so I found out that yes, that was probably the case with my mat. It's a defective mat. I mean, but I'm still kind of confused because these rollers are so loose. I mean, not loose. It's tight. It's locked. I meant not loose. They're plastic. They're so smooth. I mean, so smooth. Okay, and so I'm wondering, how they even catch a mat in the first place. So here's the issue I'm having. I'm going to turn on the machine and show you what's happening. I finally do get it to load eventually, but it just takes me a while. Okay, so no matter what I do, I'm just gonna do what I normally do. I just lay it here. First, I'm just gonna say load mat, okay? I'm gonna say okay. Okay, so nothing, okay, let's see, load mat. See how the rollers are moving and it's not catching the mat. Okay, so then I do what viewers have said, oh, try this, try that. And I've had loads and loads of suggestions. In fact, I wrote so many down because I had so many suggestions. I want to give some shout outs to all the people who helped me. All right, so I want to give a shout out to Kathy, who told me that this makes my mat a bad mat because of the number of dots. So thank you, Kathy, for telling me the 8 and the 7 dots. Alicia and Vesta, they both told me if you don't have a blue dot on your mat, then it's probably a bad mat. So there's supposed to be a blue dot down here. So thank you, Alicia and Vesta. And Joyce said that she has black marks up on the top of where the rollers were catching. And she said what she did was sand them. She sanded this to help the rollers catch onto her mat. And so thank you, Joyce, for that suggestion. I'm not going to sand my mat right now. I'm not desperate yet because I think I'm sending this machine back anyway because I'm still within the 90-day warranty. And I have other issues anyway. But thank you, guys. Thank you, all of you. All right, so let's try it again. So now other people suggested, and I don't remember all the names, but they said just hold up the back a little bit like you would your Cricut mat. So like give it a little bit of gravity. So let's try that. So lift it up a little, and I'm holding it. See, I'm holding it, giving it a little, see? Nothing pushing it, okay? So then I'm going to do what I would normally do with my, see, it's just not catching. Okay, then I'll try, what I would do with the CM350. The mat, the one I have had for, that's working fine. Okay, so now I'm going to try this. Okay, keep your hands away from the roller. No, see? Okay, now we'll try it again with 2 hands. In fact, I'm going to turn I'm going to turn this other light away. It's kind of too bright. Okay, so then let's try it again. Okay, we're on number 4. Okay, come on. I'm just going to try it again by putting my fingers on both sides, giving it a little push maybe. Okay. This time the rollers are not even spinning it. Oh, there they are. Oops, let me try it again I wasn't there when the rollers started spinning. Okay, pull it out a little bit, push it in. See, it's just not catching. So then another suggestion just recently was like try lever 2. Okay, so on the side, there's a lever, so I just switched it from over there, 1 to 2. All right, let's try that, 1 to 2. Okay. Nope. Oop, there, it's almost was catching. So once in a while when I kind of do that, it kind of catches. So Let's do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to lift the back of the mat again. That seems to be the best result, is when I lift the back of the mat. Like up like this here, and what I'm doing. That seems to get me the best result. Oops. Oh, and then it misfeeds. Hold on. Because when you lift it up, it kind of has a chance of going crooked. So you don't want it to misfeed. Okay, grab it out quick, because if you don't grab it out quick when it's misfeeding, you will crunch your mat up. I've already had paper. All right, let me lower the lever. I'm going to lower the lever back to 1 because it's actually not thick paper. I'm going to lower the lever back to 1. I'm going to try this again. Come on. Okay, come on. So, I mean, I'm doing this, because this is what I've been going through every day for like the entire week. I want my viewers to know that you're not alone, and that Brother supposedly has a fix for it. So that's why I'm doing this. I mean, I don't want to waste your time watching this. It's more of like, this is what's really happening with this machine. And it doesn't happen with my CM350. It never happened with my CM300. I'm on my 3rd ScanNCut, and you shouldn't have to go through this much work to load your mat. Okay, here we go again, pushing in. Okay, nope, nothing. Keep loading. I'm going to keep trying. And eventually when you get it to load, I turn it on to 4 hours so that it doesn't time out on me, and then I can cut a bunch of things, like I can cut some shapes and patterns. Basically, when I finally get it to load, you basically don't unload it. When you finally get it to load, you're like, yay! And then you don't unload it. Okay, let's do it. I'm not even counting. I've stopped counting at how many times it takes. But after like this past week, I've called Brother so many times, and they said things like, is your tray catch open in the back? And I'm thinking, I can't even get it to go in the front. Why are you asking me about the back of the machine? I'm not even at the anyway, they asked me all kinds of questions. Like, they asked me things like, is this locked? Okay, and it's locked. You know what I'm saying? Is this, oops, see, is that locked? Yes, it's locked. I mean, they asked me, is this locked and this is locked? See, there's a little unlock here. Okay, so they did ask me, you can just twist it, okay? That's unlocked now, see? Unlocked. Okay, and I said, no, it's definitely locked, see? Let me put it back to where it goes. So put the rollers back to where they go, and I'm going to just put it back in the locked position. So I said, yes, it's locked. Yes, I've tried all that. And anyway, I'm just showing you the different things they told me to do to troubleshoot. Let me turn that back to lock. And I said, no, it's not that. So that's when they finally came to the conclusion of sending me the new mat, which has arrived. But let's get this mat to get in there. I just want to, the reason I want this to get in there is because I'm trying to, like, those of you that don't want to lose hope, you can still cut some things if you actually eventually get it to load. And you have the patience of getting it to load. I know that after about 20 times it eventually loads. And then what you do is you put where it asks you on your machine settings, like about timing out. I tell it, don't time out. Don't go to auto shutdown for 4 hours. So then I at least have 4 hours of it not spitting the mat out, like when if it's on idle. So then I get to use the machine all day, but only to cut shapes, because I still haven't fixed my fully fixed the alignment issue, although it's getting better the more times you try to align it. I really didn't expect, you never know what to expect when you record a video, but honestly, I didn't expect it not to load this many times. It usually takes me 20 times. I think I've done more than 20 times. Okay, no. And I'll probably get all kinds of comments about how I'm doing it wrong, but it shouldn't be this hard. Okay? And Ken made a great, on Ken's creations on his channel, in his video, he's like, it shouldn't be this hard to work the machine right out of the box. You should, and especially for those of us that have been using the other machines from this company, which, I love this company. I think it's a great company. And I love their technology. And I teach the ScanNCut courses. And so, like, if I can't load the darn mat, then, like, and see, it loads when it goes in at an angle, but you don't want it to do that. So if you ever get that to happen and it starts going in crooked, be sure to to unload it right away, because if it goes in crooked, you're a goner. It'll ruin your mat. It's like my video is taking so long to load the mat. I might have to say, my new title of this video might be like 10 minutes to load the mat. 12 minutes to load the mat. I have no idea how long it's going to take to load this mat. Going in crooked, going in crooked. You have to make sure it's in between these guides. We're going to cut something if it ever loads, just for good measure, because we're like, you know, this is like crazy. I'm gonna be so happy. Like when Ken's new mat loaded after he got it out of the box, and you're probably saying, why aren't you getting it out of the box? Because I want to show you like that it eventually loads. When he finally got his mat out of the box in his video, he did the happy dance, and I said, oh, I can understand why. He was like so happy to get it to load. Hey, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go completely 45-degree angle. I mean, it can't hurt. I've done every angle. Come on. I'm pushing it. I'm not pushing it. Sometimes I'm. And so my question was like, why are these rollers just such smooth plastic? Why didn't they make these rubber? If they made these rubber like rollers, the other ones seemed like they were some kind of. There we go. Yay! All right, my video is 11 minutes and 35 seconds, so I don't know what time I started loading the mat, but whatever time it took me, I'm going to figure out from the video, and that's my new title. Oh, no, it's not. It says it said it didn't even load correctly. Oh, yes, it's saying it didn't even load correctly. How interesting is that? Well, okay, we're going to see if it did or didn't. So we're just going to cut something for good measure. I'm going to go to pattern. So let's, just to make sure that, it said it didn't load correctly though. Even after all that time, it said, you know what, it said mat did not load correctly. I'm like, are you serious? Well, we'll see. We're just going to cut a quick pattern. Okay, so pattern, so what I would do is I need some card bases. So I'm just grabbing some here. Balmy blue cardstock. I would have normally put the paper on the cardstock first. I mean, the cardstock on the mat first. But honestly, what I've been doing for the past week is, since my mat would not load, since my mat would not load at all, I was used to just putting the paper on the mat later. Because if it ever loaded, then I'm like, well, then I'll worry about the paper. All right, so there we go. So we're going to say pattern, and I'm going to make card bases. This is something I always do. So go here to rectangle. Let's see, 5.25. Width is my width, and then when you have a card base, 5.25 is the width, and then you're going to uncheck this button here. This button here is telling you if it's in proportion or not, so uncheck that button. Okay, and then you want to change the width to 4. I mean the height to 4. So you want 4 height by 5.25 width. Now I know 4 are going to fit on this, okay? But so one of the tricks I could show you is like, say you're not sure how many will fit on this little paper. You can try like a higher number. It'll tell you how many will fit. But it does think right now I have 12 by 12 paper. So let's just go with, I know 4 will fit. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. So I know 4 will fit, so let's say 4. And I'll show you other tips and tricks later, because this is really a mat loading, mat loading issue video. And so, all right. Now we have 4 card bases, and you're going to say okay. So you have 4 rectangles, and then you say select, and you say cut, because I don't want to draw the card bases. I want to actually cut the card bases. So we're going to say cut, and we're going to just say cut. Oh no, it's not letting me start. So you say cut. Nope. You know what? It's not letting me start the button. Interesting. The mat is not loaded. I thought I got a message about that earlier. This is unbelievable. All right. I mean, I can't even make this stuff up. Now it's saying the mat's loading, but okay, let's see if it says start. There we go. At least it didn't come all the way out this time. I'm like, I feel really bad if this has happened to you. And the only reason I'm actually getting through this is because I took a few days off to just, besides messing with it, I knew I couldn't call Brother Oh, it's already started. It's already messed up the cardstock up in the corner. That's because it wasn't very sticky. Now it's saying go to lever 2, even though I'm using a plain piece of cardstock. We're going to go with it. This happened to me a few times where it's caught the paper up in the corner. It's not very sticky, so that doesn't have to do with my real thickness of the paper. It thinks I have thick paper, but I really don't. I just am using a piece of Stampin' Up cardstock. All right, then it says the cardstock is too thick and can't be used. All right, so let's give the we know when we admit defeat. Let's just unload this and try the new mat. Okay, so but now you got to see why I stopped calling Brother because they were closed, July 4th, I figured. And so here's what happened to the corner. It's telling me my material's too thick to cut, even though it's just a piece of cardstock. But I was able to cut a lot of card bases and some shapes with this mat while it was sticky. It's kind of already lost its stickiness. All right, so let's talk about, let's get the new mat out. Anyway, so I'm back to the point is I'm okay with not having this one working because I have another machine. I did not give up my CM350 and I was still able to cut out stamped images, do projects, and keep on crafting. So I feel bad that if this is your only machine and this is happening to you. Now, a lot of people, especially those from foreign countries, have been telling me their machine's working great. Like, I've had no problems with it. And I'm like, seriously, no problems with it. That's awesome. But a lot of people in the US are telling me that they also had problems with their new ScanNCut. So I'm here to just tell you that if you do call Brother, they will send you a new mat. I mean, I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm just telling you that they're going to send, if your mat's defective, I mean, not that they're going to send you a new mat, but they said if their mat's defective. But then someone else, one of my viewers said they stopped sending new mats, after July. But I did call them before it ended. I called them at the end of June. So we'll see. I mean, just try calling them because they need to send you a new mat. Now what we're doing now, it's way long into this video, if you guys are still with me, is what we're doing is unboxing the new mat the Brother sent. Okay, they just sent it. It took a few days to get here, like promised, and they sent me a giant box. And in the bottom of the box, one mat. Okay, so one mat. They packaged it very well, but although we're killing a lot of trees, but that's okay. It's recycled cardboard, I'm sure. All right, done. So here's the moment of truth. So is this mat going to work? And then we'll cut something. All right, so here we have, it's called and now remember, you can't use the CM350 mats on the Brother ScanNCut DX. So it says standard tack adhesive mat. Okay, that's what I had before. Standard tack adhesive mat. Okay, let's try it. We're going to open it up. It's the SDX mat. You can tell because there's a hanging hole. Okay, move my machine back out of the way. Okay, we are going to open up the new mat. Okay, I'm just hoping that this mat's different than my mat, and I'm hoping that it works. I want it to work. I need to use my machine. I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. I use my machine all the time. All right, so let's count the dots. I still don't see a blue dot anywhere. So, don't know what my crafty friends were talking about with the blue dot. Okay, this was the old mat. Okay, that's the old mat. This is the new mat. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2018. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. September. Okay, this one was made 2 months later. 2 months later. Okay, so they did tell us that if we bought mats between August and October of 2018, or sorry, 2018, yeah, 2018, that wasn't going to work, but maybe it takes a while before they get to market. So let's just see if the new mat works. It could be that the other mat got so damaged, from all the times of getting it in and out, of all the times of pulling it in and out, that maybe this new mat will work because of that. Maybe the new mat will work because it's a better mat, and maybe because it's straighter and it didn't get all caught up on the ends like this other mat. So let's try. We're not going to try this piece of cardstock that got chewed up. We are going to get a new piece of cardstock. I want to cut these darn mat layers for my cards that I have in there already, All right. So let's see. Let's turn off the extra light. not needed. It's just a little better if you see. Okay, so where we are at is card bases. You can see them on the screen. Now, move that back out. We're going to stick the piece of cardstock onto the mat. Okay, and oh, it's nice and sticky. In fact, don't try to pull it off. It's already pretty sticky. It's a little crooked, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't cut the very top. Oh, I like a sticky mat. Excited about that. Now let's try to load it. Okay, I want you to see the whole thing again, just like you did before. Everything here. Okay, we're going to say load mat. And it loaded, first try. So I don't know what's going on, but this mat loaded. How awesome is that? Okay, so I hate to waste your time, and you could have skipped to this part right to the beginning because our new mat works, but I just wanted to show you the issue I was having, and I wanted you, if you were, so you know you're not alone. Okay, let's go ahead and cut the mat. Cut. Okay, so new mat, manufactured September. Okay, that's my notes. September 2018. Okay, because in the notes it says from Ken's Creations, it says if your mat was manufactured between August and October, there could be an issue. But in this case, this mat made in September did not have an issue. Wow, look at this. This just works right out of the box. So I'm happy with my new mat. Okay, now we're going to peel. We're going to unload. Oh, no, we're not unloading. Let's not push it. Let's not unload the mat because I'm going to show you why in a second. So if you have to cut a lot of things, what I like about the SDX 125 is that when you're cutting things, let me get my little spatula out of the storage. In the past, it was very hard to get to this part, like in the other machine. I'm not in the past, but this one, it still lets you it comes out to the point where you could load another piece of cardstock. So I would say, don't push it. Okay, here we got our card bases, just so you know what they were for. I have a bunch of cards I made, and I was trying to put some card bases inside. Card layers. Like for example, here's a black one. And you could have written in the white one, but here's a black card, here's a card, and I was trying to make card bases. So I really do need card bases, so that's good we got that accomplished. Okay, see? In fact, I hardly ever use a paper trimmer anymore. I just do my card bases. All right, so let's put that off to the side. Let's see. So what I would do is, this is, yay for sticky mats. Okay, so I have 4 card bases. And I didn't even barely touch this cardstock to the paper. It just latched right on. I probably would not have started with cardstock because it has more fibers. I probably would have started with, designer series paper because hardly any fibers in that paper. And then it's it will not stick very. It will help get the mat sort of conditioned because now I got stickiness on my mat. But that's okay because my other mat already lost its stick, so I definitely needed a new mat. All right, so we are going to see that if this mat solved the issue of the alignment issue I was having. So when I called Brother, I had 3 issues with my new machine. One was the mat was not loading. They sent me a new mat. The other one was alignment. I was not getting the same amount of white space on one side of my stamped images as the other side. Okay, and then the third issue was my wireless is not working. Okay, so let's take a piece of white cardstock. Now I have Whisper White 12 by 12. I'm just going to be buying the 12 by 12 I think from now on because it'll I'm going to need the 12 by 12. Get a lot more on there. Okay, so we're going to put a piece of white cardstock on to your mat. I'm not unloading the mat because I don't want to unload it. It might unload it for me during this process, but I guess I'm going to be used to just not unloading the mat because you don't want to risk not being able to load it again. Okay, let's zoom on in. All right, now you can see. Now you can see better. Sorry, guys. All right, now you can see better. We are going to go into the settings, which is this little, we're going to go home and we're going to go into the settings. Okay, now here's what let's just say, okay, let's go. Actually, we got to go home and delete all patterns. Now we're going into the settings. Okay, right here. And we're going to say, and scroll down. Scanning, cutting, position adjustment. Okay, it used to be a page numbers, but now it's just scroll down till you find scanning, cutting, position adjustment. The carriage mat will move to the initial position. Keep your hands free of the carriage. Please don't spit out. It did spit out. That's okay. All right, we're going to load it. It says put a piece of white. It says install a blade holder. Yes, yes, yes. A sheet of white paper attached, and it is definitely 12 by 12 paper. I made sure. And then it says shift scanner lever position to 1, which I did. All right. And it says press the start key. Oh, the mat loaded again. Yay! And it loaded again the first time, so that's good. Okay. So the mat loaded, and now it just says start. It says install the blade holder, blah, 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 blah. Press start. It's not letting me press start. The blade cover is set to position 2. Oh, that's right. It made me, sorry, it was on position 2 because it told me to do that for this cardstock, even though it shouldn't have needed to do that. But that's okay. It thinks my cardstock is thicker than a millimeter or whatever, or thicker than it, and it made me use position 2, which is interesting. I hope I don't have to use position 2 for cardstock because it says in the instructions like you only need it for foam and thick material. Foam and, light chipboard and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping it doesn't make me start using that. All right, so it's processing. So what it's doing now is it's putting little crosshairs. And then it's going to scan those crosshairs, and then I'm going to say yes or no if it's aligned. After that, so it's because maybe the mat loading issue will fix the alignment issue. So I have 2 little piggies in case. Where's my piggies? Let's get those ready. I have 2 stamped piggies. All right, let's see. It says yes, okay? So does the red center of the circle align with the center of the mat? Well, absolutely, it does this time. Wow, it does even better. So maybe the new mat fixed the alignment issue. So I'm going to say yes. The setting was saved, okay. Yay! All right, so it doesn't need to do it again. I already said yes. I don't know why it's saying. I'm just going to say go back home. So it was yes, and it's aligned. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to put my piggies onto the mat. I'm going to peel the Whisper White cardstock off of the mat, and then I can show you those crosshairs. And trust me, in the future, I have so many cool things to show you with this machine. I just needed to get it working right correctly first. All right, so here's what it did. It put the little crosshairs in there, and then it scanned them in. Okay, so be sure you have yourself a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock in the future because you're going to need it. Okay, I'm putting the piggies on the mat. We're going to say scan. Now I'm going to cut the piggies directly, so I'm going to say direct cut. Now here's what should happen. When I cut out my piggies, I want an even space around the outside. So this is This Little Piggy stamp set, my favorite stamp set. I've been cutting it out with my last 2 Brother ScanNCuts. It cut out perfectly, the right amount of white space on the outside than inside. I ignore small objects. I get rid of these small pieces. And even if a little piece of grass gets attached at the very bottom here, I've always been able to cut it off. But the rest of the pig was always fine. Just for good measure, someone said try another stamp that has an even space around it. Like this one, I tried. So I'm trying. Without any grass. They said, maybe your grass is interfering. I said, well, it never interfered in the past. But okay, so fine. So we are stamping one of these as well to see if it does that. Okay, so scan. That was just asking, by the way, I don't want to skip any steps. This is asking, where do you want to store your scanned image? I want to store it on the machine. Okay, that's where it just is temporary storage. I'm using black and white recognition mode for sure because these piggies have good contrast between the foreground and the background. I'm going to say start, and I'm going to scan in the two piggies, okay? Now the mat's sticky, so I'm so happy that I don't have to worry about these slipping. Whereas with the other one, I mean, the mat already kind of lost its stick already, my other mat. So it scanned them in, and I'm going to say okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to select the area I want. It's already like found little lines that, so I can ignore them, or I can just sort of select. I can ignore the small objects it finds, but that's, in that case, it's a big line it found over there. I'm just zooming into the part I want. Okay, zooming in to just the pigs. Also, I should ignore object size because I can ignore that little text underneath the pig, the sentiments. Okay, don't ignore objects too large, because what if you do, you'll be ignoring the pig itself. So in this case, I'm just going about an inch. Ignore object size. All right, about an inch. That way I'm not ignoring the pigs themselves. Okay, we're going to say okay. Now it's asking if I want an outline distance. So I'm going to say yes. I want an outline distance of 0.04. Okay, so 0.04 is a good outline distance. It's called you might have heard it called as offset, and it makes that little, instead of cutting right along the line, it'll cut, a little bit of a white border around it. Okay, I've also done tutorials on using your Brother ScanNCut to make a mask, and that's how you can sponge color these pigs really quickly. Okay, so that's another technique. I've shown lots of techniques, but with the other machine. Poor people with the SDX125 have not gotten the full range of my tutorials yet, but I plan on making some. But I'm sure that you found other tutorials on other sites as well. There's lots of cool stuff out there. All right, but I focus on a lot of Stampin' Up products using the Brother ScanNCut. So let's say please select, and then we're going to say cut. So basically every stamp set I have, I try to cut out with the Brother ScanNCut, even if I have dies or don't have dies. We're going to say start, and so this is the moment of truth. We're comparing now. I have a new mat. And I have just stamped images again. I'm hoping that this time, it did look like it aligned it better. I'm hoping that this time it cuts out my piggies perfectly. And if it doesn't, what you do, you should just have to go through that alignment process again. I do like in the CM350 that I was allowed to manually align my machine to the position I wanted it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to say okay. I'm going to move this back. The machine's a little heavier now, but maybe that's what makes it that it's so quiet. We're going to unload. I'm going to go ahead and unload the mat because I'm actually confident that it'll load again. Plus, I want to show you how to get these off of the mat. I'm thinking it's doing a pretty good job. I think it's doing the best job it's ever done before. I probably still have some pigs I can compare this to over here on the side of my table. So, dun, dun, dun. The moment of truth. Does my new mat work? So I'm peeling off the part I don't want. And now you can either bend the mat a little bit to get these off, but in this case, the mat's sticky, so use your little spatula. Okay? Okay, that's how I'm getting the piggies off, and I think it did a good job. Look at that. I'm saying yes for the white space. Let's put it on something blue to really see. I'm saying yes for a good amount of white space. I mean, not totally perfect. There's a little bit more on this side than that side, but I mean, yes, that's the best it's ever done, I think. Okay, let's get this piggy off and see what happened. And yes, this was supposed to happen. And then I do end up, like I said, I do end up cutting a couple pieces of grass off the bottom because they're stuck to the pig. But the pig, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. All right, comparing that to something that happened before, when my first one, see how that just wasn't doing it up there. These are my first pigs. I tried and tried and tried. I kept on getting the wrong amount of space. Here, let's compare. I didn't even do a flying pig. But I was getting, see how, when I was first doing this with my old mat, I was getting like hardly any white space on the right side and a lot on the left. I think this is more even, the bottom one, and I think that's way better. And actually, I'm happy with that. I can live with that. It's not as good as my other machine, but it's still really good. So now you can cut out stamped images and you can cut out patterns. So even though you spent a long time here today with me, if you stuck with me, then at least you are able to cut out patterns and stamped images with your machine. And you can also, know that you can call Brother and you can tell them when your mat, which kind of mat you have, ask them for a new mat. It can't hurt to ask, and hopefully they'll send you one. So thank you for watching. Now stick with me as I teach you more about the Brother ScanNCut DX as far as I can go with the limitations of my machine. So thank you. This is the Papered Chef.